Windows 10 for phone is here, and we're going to give you a quick tour of the operating system and show you what it's all about. Stay tuned. Hey everybody, Daniel Rubino here with Windows Central, and check it out, we got the Windows 10 preview for Windows phones, or however you want to call it. It is now out, you can go get it yourself. This is a Nokia Lumia 830 on AT&T, just freshly installed on there, and so we're going to give you that quick tour and show you the different operating system features of the preview. Now, if you want to put this on your own phone, you go to Windows Central and you can look up the information about how to do that. Only a subset of Lumias right now can get this, mostly the 730, the 635, the 830, and so this is on there, and it took us about 30 minutes to install. So here it is. You got the new start screen. As you can see, you got the transparency effect. It's pretty nice. It's definitely a different experience. Scrolling over to the program list, you can still see you got the transparency in the background. It's a little bit nicer, a little bit more artsy, I suppose. It pops out. Of course, you can get rid of that and just have a black background as well. Speaking of, if you want, there's your action center, and so it looks pretty much the same, although you can see the layout is a little bit different now. It's got these lines drawn through. You can also do this expand thing, so you can fit a lot more up in the action center now, which is a pretty cool idea. A lot more choices there: Bluetooth, rotation lock, all settings, device discovery, location, VPN, and you could probably even configure that, I assume. Or you can collapse it. We'll go to all settings. Now the settings has also been completely changed here, and so it's a very different experience. This is probably one of the main areas where you're going to see the new dialogue sort of system that they're using for apps. And so you can see here, one probably complaint people are going to have is everything is kind of small, and so that's something that may be adjusted later on. But you got here system, devices, network, wireless, personalization, accounts. Now technically a lot of this stuff is the same as on your current Windows device. It just has a different layout menu, meaning when I go into system, you can see it has all those same features as you're used to: your display, notifications and actions, Cortana and search. And then when you go into them, so this is that's a new menu, right? So it's a white background. You have your display. You can do your brightness levels, which is kind of interesting. Automatically adjust your brightness, lock rotation, notifications and action. So now this kind of goes back to a traditional screen that we're sort of used to. So you're going to get that kind of mix of some of these old menu systems with the newer one. So there's the driving mode that's already been on there. So it's a sort of interesting contrast between the two. Not a whole lot in terms of differences. You do have USB. Asked before, using USB data connection, notify me when I connect. So it doesn't look like there's over the OTG support yet. I don't know if that's coming or not. So a lot of these menus, though, are kind of the same. If you go into, though, you can go like personalization, and you can do background here. So now you can select the show more tiles or less. I'm not even sure if it actually works on the 830. Actually, let's find out. We'll go back to the main screen. It doesn't really look like it changes anything on the 830, so I'm not really sure that's actually an option or not. That's fully in effect. But you can go through and then you can choose your backgrounds here. And so I can go and choose this one, and it's going to set it. And see, okay, now that's a weird bug right there. That just hopped into the Show Wallpaper app, which I use to download some wallpapers on there. I'm not really sure why that happens, but it's definitely an early bug. And I have noticed some bugs in this already, so it's true, it's not 100% stable. So you definitely want to, maybe not use this on your main phone, but you can always roll it back. So there is a tool which we have on Windows Central that will allow you to go back to your old version should you not like it. Update and recovery, phone update. So a lot of this stuff is pretty much the same. It's very familiar to you guys. Performance, like I said, pretty decent here. Let's see what else we got. So we get your personalization, sounds. So you have your vibrate. So a lot of these is the same menu, just sort of redone. Same with the lock screen. It's got a new menu system, but it's pretty familiar. And if you want your password stuff, it goes under here, under the advanced settings. Probably the big complaint right now, like I said, is stuff like that, advanced settings. It's very tiny, the font, so it's kind of hard to see. What about Cortana? It is here, of course, as well. See if I can actually get it to launch. It looks like it's not launching. Oh, wait. There it goes. Looks like I had a little problem registering the button tap. So this is the new Cortana, different layout, white background. It's kind of interesting. Not really sure how that totally works. Here's a Cortana feedback. So there's a feedback system based in this on Windows 10, just like the desktop version. And you can see though how it's laid out. It's a little bit more different. You got your weather, of course. So the menu system is laid out differently. You got the main Cortana icon there at the top. It's now in the center as opposed to the right, and there is a tiny hamburger button there. It's kind of familiar if you use the Windows 10 preview. You're going to recognize the same sort of menu system, and they're clearly using the same layout for that. Going to phone, this is also a new dialer here, so you can place and make calls. You can see you also have a speed dial area, and then there's also a new dial pad, which is really weird. At least it's different from the previous version we've been used to, and it's smaller keys. So that is like the new dialer that's coming in there. This too is an app. So almost everything in Windows 10 is an app. So you don't even need to update the operating system. Microsoft can update stuff basically through the store. Speaking of the store, it is pretty much the same right now. It doesn't really look much different, so there's not too much changed here. Not really much in the way of new apps. The camera does work. It's actually pretty fast. You'll get that blue screen. I've seen that a few times now with different apps. It's a pretty quick one. This isn't the full, Lumia Camera 5.0. Of course, it didn't come with the AT&T version. It's not out yet, but it's your basic. That is the Lumia camera. It's going to be going to all Microsoft phones. So it works pretty well here. You can see it's pretty fast, and it takes the photos. Speaking of photos, you probably have noticed, let's see, when we hit that little photo button, it should go into, it goes into the previous photo. Okay, that's interesting. But you also have the new photo gallery, which if I can find that here. The photo gallery is kind of interesting. It's also the same one that's available on Windows 10, so you basically have all your screenshots here. There goes the photo that I just took. So it takes a second to refresh, which is a little bit of a different experience. You also have this new menu system down here for sharing, editing, deletion. And you can bring it up there, slideshow, file info. So you can see the dialogues have all changed. We've seen this before, though, in the previews, but it is now coming to the rest of the phone. Definitely an interesting choice by Microsoft for some of these decisions. Let's see if we can actually find Cortana, because we should be able to pin that to the start screen. And there's a new dialogue as well, as you may have noticed. And we'll see the different sizes. So we got tiny, and there is the new tile size. So yes, you can do this double extra large kind of thing. I doubt you can do this, let's see, for standard apps. My guess is, developers are going to have to sort of program this stuff in there. Yeah, so a lot of these are just a standard size. So it looks like it has to be a Windows 10 app, which, makes sense. There's Cortana as a full-size tile. Definitely kind of interesting stuff here. Overall, it's been a good experience. It is a little bit buggy, so, make sure you definitely want to put this on your phone. Like I said, you can roll it back, but it's actually pretty stable for what it is. It's not really that bad. I've only had one crash so far, and I think it mostly has to do with the Photos app, which to me is probably the little bit of the more buggy of the apps that are on here right now. There's that blue screen again. You can see here it's going to go into the weather. Some of the apps take a little bit longer to load than I would like. There's an example with the weather one. It's not too bad. We can try the news as well. There's that blue screen. So I'm sure this stuff will be tweaked up later on upon the final release and over the next few months. Now what's cool is if you're part of this insider program and you decide to do Windows 10, you should be getting frequent updates, maybe every couple weeks or so. We're not really too sure. And we should be able to see, constant improvements to this. So that's kind of a neat experience. And you gotta give kudos to Microsoft for letting us get a preview of the operating system. It's not gonna be really out till probably later this summer. So definitely a first for them. And so far it seems to be going pretty well, although yes, it's limited to Lumia devices out there. So head to Windows Central for more information. We'll be continuing coverage throughout the week on Windows 10. If you have any questions, leave us a comment. We'll try to answer them. And like I said, this is just a first pass. I've only had this about 15 minutes, so we'll try to do a little bit more later. But there you go. Take care, everybody.